and so helpless when it comes to their kids and social media. And they don't have to feel that way. They feel like they don't have any options, that they just have to give up and give in because they don't want to be that parent. Nobody wants to be that parent. And again, it's a great piece at Reason. You can check it out at reason.com. And I think we got Stephen on the line now. Stephen, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
So let's dive right into this. We talk about how many parents just feel like they've got no options in terms of what they can do because of the pressure that they're getting. A lot of the pressure from their own kids and from other kids. They don't want to be the bad parent. But then also we have Congress kind of swirling around the outside but not really doing anything. What should we be thinking about? How should we be looking at this?
Well, my perspective as someone who works at the Consumer Choice Center, where we believe very much in giving, consumers of technology products and anything on the market the ability to choose for themselves rather than have the government do it for them. But also as a parent of a 13-year-old daughter who I think is very much in the crosshairs of a lot of not just like tech companies, but also bad cultural movements who, she shouldn't be engaging with. I don't really want her to be on social media, and we've raised her as such. But my staunch belief is that parents do still have the power, the authority, and the ability to choose how things are going to be handled in their individual households. And we shouldn't look to Congress just yet to legislate on this issue with things like the Kids Off Social Media Act from Ted Cruz and the Kids Online Safety Act from Senator Mark Blumenthal.
Yeah, and so as you look at some of these, one, I love the title of your piece in Reason, Don't Co-Parent with Congress. That's really bad strategy because parents do have that, and I think part of what you do at the Consumer Choice Center is get to some of those choices. So let's go through some of those. You point out several of these in your piece at Reason, but give us some of the things that parents should say, okay, I can immediately go down this path, or I can use this technology or this approach that might get a better result.
Absolutely. So I was really excited when I found out that there are already a ton of products on the market that are useful for parents and families like ours, where we are not going all in on social media and smartphones in our household until our daughter is, at least nearing the end of high school. One such product is the Bark phone. The Bark phone is a nerfed Android device in the sense that it is an Android phone so that your kid can enjoy the social credit of having, what looks like a smartphone. But it is completely permission-based from front to back, and everything that happens on it has to be approved by the parent managing it on their own device. If the kid wants Google Maps, it has to be requested. If the kid wants TikTok, it has to be requested. And you also are getting AI-generated updates on things that are being said on the phone, text, communication, photos that are shared on the phone that AI detects as being potentially harmful. Now, it can be a little bit over the top in some of its monitoring, but those are things that you can turn off if you think it's a little bit too much.
Yeah, and I think that's important, too, because then it's the parent making the choice, not a social media app and not a government regulation of one form or another. It's actually parents parenting, which I know may seem like a radical concept today.
Yeah, well, people are scared. Technology is moving really, really fast, and I think a lot of parents are just completely gobsmacked by the time and the technical understanding that it takes to manage some of these devices. We struggled to set up the Bark phone for a couple of days, and we're millennials. My wife and I are about 34. And we struggled, but we figured it out. It wasn't that hard. Technical service can help you through it, and you set up the device. And then there are also competitors on the market to the Bark phone. There's Trumi, there's Pinwheel, there's Gab phone, and those phones don't even allow for parents to get their kids onto social media. So those phones are designed to prohibit social apps of all kinds, and even if the parents change their mind, they don't accommodate it. So there are ways that your kid can move around town, and you can keep track of where they are. You can make sure they're not engaging with strangers or sharing dangerous materials and text messages. But then you can also just, make sure that they've got the kind of device they need to move through the modern world and learn their way.
Yeah, and I think that's the important thing is to help them figure out how to navigate that while having some good guardrails there that, again, are done by choice, not by chance. One of the things that you mentioned in your piece that I don't think a lot of parents even think of it. They're worried about a lot of the sites and the algorithms and that, but a lot of them aren't even
Yes.
thinking about what kids are picking up just off of Spotify or music apps.
Yeah, it's pretty alarming. I mean, I note in my article over at Reason that the monitoring on the Bark phone for my daughter is kind of funny. It sends me notifications when my daughter's listening to songs by Journey and the Killers, Mr. Brightside, and the AI in the phone detects, sexual or violent lyrics or mentions of guns, and that's a little goofy. But if my daughter were being served up by Spotify's recommended music, songs by Cardi B that are intensely sexual in nature, I would want to know that.
Yeah.
I would absolutely want to know that. And I say that as a consumer who uses Spotify every single day. I get recommended some songs that I have no interest in listening to. And that's going to happen to your kid as well. That's what happens on YouTube. I, for one, I'm always surprised by my YouTube algorithm. It suggests some videos to me that are shocking. And I looked at my daughter's YouTube and checked out some of the things that she was being recommended. And I will tell you, the recommended videos page was 10 perfectly appropriate videos and then one that I just made my eyes pop with the sexual nature of it. And I was like, why would this even be on YouTube, and why is this being recommended to a child?
Yeah, this is such an important conversation. And I love the fact that you're saying, hey, parents, you got to be in the game. This is what parenting looks like. This is what parenting sounds like. This is what parenting acts like. And the best way to do it is to actually do it and not look to Washington, not look to the social media platforms to do the job, because it just won't get done.
Yep. Once you give that power away, remember, everybody, you will never get it back. If you cede ground to Congress to manage any part of your life, it's a power that you will never get back. And we as parents, we need to keep up with the tech as best we can. We need to take the time to read and learn about different products that are on the market. And if you're asking me as a private individual and as a parent, you don't give your kid smartphone devices or social media until they're mid-teens. I think that is backed up by science. I think that is backed up by research on the effects that it has on children, but to each their own. At the end of the day, though, you don't have to give them the same device you have. There are ones out there that are modified for children's use, and I don't think people really know about them.
Yeah, great perspective. Stephen Kent's the media director of the Consumer Choice Center. He's also the author of How the Force Can Fix the World, Lessons on Life, Liberty, and Happiness from a Galaxy Far, Far Away. Stephen, great perspective, great piece. Everyone check that out at Reason.com today.